Right. We should be ready if you want to start. Well, 7:30, we can start.
Okay, we're ready to go. All right, I'm calling the meeting to order for the Marin Municipal Water District Board of Directors for October 6th, 2020. Could I get a motion to adopt our agenda?
Oh, hold on. Let me do the roll call as soon as I can turn this off. I don't know why I can't turn this off. Hold on, people, I apologize.
No problem.
I don't know why this is still going.
Ooh, what's up?
Let me turn this off. Okay, I believe I turned it off. You're good. Sorry. So I'm going to do roll call. Director Bragman?
We need a motion. Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jeannie, could you please take over while I look at behind the scenes? I apologize.
Okay. Do you have the host?
I'm going to make you host.
I think we're waiting for a roll call vote on the, or are we just standing there?
Right.
Okay. I guess I can do that.
Yeah.
Director Breckman,
Aye.
Director Russell.
Aye.
And President Gibson.
Aye. Okay, thank you. And I understand we do have public comment. This would be for anything on the agenda that is anything off that's not on the agenda.
Right.
President Gibson, I believe we had one comment submitted earlier on a non-agenda item, and it was sent to the board and will be posted on the website. It's on a non-action item.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Do I have any comments? Any comments from any of the directors?
And no, I'll pass on that.
Okay, Larry? Other Larry?
Over two on the Larrys.
Okay, and I have none. So Ben and General Manager.
I do have a brief comment. I wanted to share that we were notified last week that our application to fund Phase 3 of Azalea Hills was recommended for funding by the state. We aren't celebrating yet. It still has some steps to go. Notably, we have to go through the NEPA, the federal environmental process, since it's federal dollars, but it is just one more reflection of the good work of staff leveraging ratepayer dollars with grant funding. So we're hopeful in the next number of months we'll receive formal final notification that we're through the NEPA process and the funding will occur. I also wanted to briefly pass the microphone to Bob Maddow, who had a comment or two he wanted to share.
Sure.
Ben, before you go, how do you know the size of the grant?
Yeah, it's sizable. It's $750,000 grant.
And what's our match?
Do you know the details, Crystal? The match?
That's a good question. Matt does.
Oh, that's right. There you are.
Our match is $50,000.
Wow.
Oh.
Good.
That's good leveraging.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, boy. It's nice work, Matt, and everyone else, Sean, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very good news. Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. President Gibson, members of the board, and Mr. Harnstein, other members of the staff who are here. I just wanted to note the fact that this is the last board meeting before my tenure as interim general counsel passes. I will actually be stepping down from that role as of next Monday. And of course, next Monday, your new general counsel, Molly McLean, will commence her service for the district. I think the district is going to be in absolutely excellent hands when she arrives. And I think the district will be very proud of the tremendous addition she will be to your team. On behalf of myself and my law firm, we very much appreciate the fact that you selected us to fill this interim role. It has been challenging and extremely interesting for us. We've worked hard at it. I personally had the luxury of being able to stand back and watch Jared work. And I'll tell you, had he not been there, I don't know that I would have lasted a month. But seriously, it has been a very interesting and challenging 6 months, and we appreciate the opportunity and look forward to the possibility of, somewhere down the road in some other capacity, us providing special counsel assistance as the district may decide it needs. But our participation as interim general counsel is about to end. Thank you very much.
All right. And Bob, I'm sure the district thanks you very, very much, but I personally want to thank you. You've been a great help, the entire time you were here, very professional. And I'm proud to have worked with you during that period.
Thank you, Director Gibson. I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, and you've made the transition, a very smooth and sort of not stressful time. It could have been a very tough time to go to new council. So it's been a pleasure, really.
Thank you, Director Bragman. I appreciate that, and it has been my pleasure as well.
I couldn't agree more, Bob. It's seamless and perfect as usual. And thank you for your wise input.
Right.
Thank you, Director. I appreciate that.
And the bad news is we know where you are. So, all right. Can I get a motion to approve our consent calendar?
Yeah, I just have a question for Ben on Porteous.
Yeah.
Is there any update on status? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a good. I saw. Oh, there you are, Mike. Can you give a?
So as you know, when we did a closed circuit inspection of the concrete pipe, and we also met with some contractors out at the site, and they had lots of good input. So on Thursday, we're going to do a closed circuit inspection of the welded steel pipe. And right now, it looks like our best option is to place pipes in both, a new pipe in both the concrete pipe and the steel pipe. But we'll get more information when we do the closed circuit inspection of the steel pipe, which is currently in service on Thursday. So we're kind of leaning in that direction out of all the options available at this point. But we'll be coming to the board once we have a really good idea of exactly what we're going to do and then the cost to do that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Sounds like a great approach.
Okay, I'd move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. I guess we need a roll call vote.
Director Bregman,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
and President Gibson.
Aye. I think that takes us to item number 6 on our regular calendar schedule.
Okay, I believe Matt Seges is going to lead us through that one.
Good evening, board members. I'm Matt Seges, the Grant and Legislative Program Coordinator. And tonight I'm bringing to you a brief item regarding letters of commitment for grants. As you know, our district applies for grant funding throughout the year to offset expenses or to fund projects which would be infeasible without outside funding. Most of our grant applications require some form of match. This can be an in-kind contribution such as staff labor or a contribution of materials. Some grants require a cash match. the match amount can exceed 50% in some cases. In addition, grant solicitations can often require a short turnaround time to meet application deadlines. Upon award of grant funding, staff follows district procedures to obtain board approval to execute grant funding agreements and resolutions, or if the agreement exceeds the general manager's signing authority, which is currently limited to $100,000. A letter of commitment, which is required by some funders, outlines the details of the match, the funding sources, and the amount of cash versus in-kind match. Under current district practices, if the cash match is under $100,000 within the general manager's authority, the letter may be signed without bringing it before the board. When the cash match exceeds the general manager's authority, an item is brought to the board for approval prior to signing of the letter. To allow the district to be more agile and competitive with our grant applications, staff recommends that the board approve Resolution 8605, which authorizes the general manager to sign letters of commitment where the district match contribution in kind and or cash does not exceed $500,000 per grant. Upon notice of award, staff will continue to follow district procedures to obtain board approval to execute these grant funding agreements. Thank you.
This, if I could just share, came up recently with a grant opportunity, and the timing was such, I was asked to, try and come up with a letter of commitment within a couple days that exceeded the $100,000. And we ended up coming up with something that was acceptable, but it was a bit touch and go. And certainly we could have called an emergency board meeting, but just to put in an application and a letter of commitment, do we want to call a special board meeting? I also want to note that if the board decided to provide this authorization, I would only use it when timing was an issue. If we had time to bring it to the board, we'll go ahead and bring it to the board. This is really to address when there's time sensitivity and we don't want to lose these grant funding opportunities.
Now, my understanding is, I guess, a couple of things. One, we're not changing the overall authority. It's only in this context.
Correct.
And items will still come to the board, just not necessarily as a precondition to making the commitment. So the board will be fully informed. It's just not necessarily prior to the need to do the commitment.
That's correct. And I think the word commitment's the operative word here, because it is a letter of commitment. So by signing that letter, I would be, at the end of the day, if the board, we'd figure it out, but I would be committing the district to the match up to that amount.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
it's
Larry?
a lot of authority, $500,000. So
Absolutely.
it's just as a matter of policy and transparency. I think, to me, that's too high. But I don't know how the other board members feel. So,
How big was the grant that you were talking about, Ben?
That's a good question. I think it was conservation, and I was working with Carrie, who actually worked with legal on the resolution. Do you recall, Crystal? Maybe it was 200, 250?
Well, Matt's got the specifics. We happen to have him here, but it was a $100,000 commitment as our portion, but the total grant was, Matt, could you remind me, was it 300,000? I think it was.
The total grant was about $250,000, and the cash match was, the letter of commitment required a match of just over $100,000. So it did trigger that line.
Right. And I think we ended up committing to the 99,000 or 100,000 and not doing the 120 that they wanted. So that's what it was, or something like that.
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about raising the limit to 250?
Yeah, I think if the board prefers that, understandably, jumping from 100 to 500 does seem significant. I think that would address a large part of these issues. It don't arise all the time.
How did you arrive at the 500,000 number for purposes of this agenda?
It was an interesting discussion with staff where I was leaning to be fair on something lower. And, it was pointed out historically, there's been matches for big grants of a larger size. I think we'd go a long way with a 250. This, because it takes the need for a commitment letter that exceeds my authority, that doesn't have the timing to bring it to the board. So what we're talking pretty seldom, maybe 2, 3 times a year, something like this would come up.
Yeah.
And I always do have the option to, and I would do it. Certainly, I'm not going to pass on a grant to call a special board meeting. We can always do that if we need to.
Right. Well, I think what you're hearing here, Ben, is I don't think any of this is a concern in terms of trust or anything like that, confidence in you. But I think Larry is obviously, we have to answer to the public. And I think that's what's driving the comment.
I mean, it's $500,000. Just that's a really big commitment.
Yeah, it's a sizable chunk. I appreciate it. From my view, if we landed at 250,000, I think that would address a good percent of these issues that arise.
Larry Russell, do you have any concern about reducing the 500 to 250,000?
No, that's fine.
Okay, then I don't know if do we have any public comment on this item?
We do not.
Okay, could I get a motion? Any other comments from the board? Can I get a motion then to approve the proposal on the abbreviated amount, 250,000 as opposed to 500,000?
So moved, and thank you.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I guess we need a roll call.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
and President Gibson.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we are on number 7 here, I think, of the agenda, approval of the to fill
Cynthia.
actually a couple of positions, it looks like.
Hi, everybody. Sorry to be late.
Up. Hi, Cynthia.
Good evening, Paul Selly, Operations Director. Item 7 then is the approval to fill a backflow and reclamation specialist position. A promotion back in April of this year resulted in a vacancy. The duties of this position really help fulfill our regulatory compliance obligations associated with cross-connection control and recycled water. Cross-connection control obviously is an important aspect of our water quality program. It helps keep the water safe out in the distribution system by preventing, businesses and customers from unwittingly returning water to the system after it's passed through their meters. And of course, activities in recycled water, one of the most heavily regulated areas that I've encountered. And we have a lot of compliance duties associated with monitoring, from signage, of course, to even water quality out in the distribution system. And of course, everywhere that uses a dual plumbed water to flush toilets, every year we have to go in and inspect those facilities to make sure valves and things haven't changed. So it's a busy position and an important one. It's sort of required, we were almost required to have this functionality on staff. The fiscal impact for this position is $134,980 a year. That's the maximum step for salary and benefits. And of course, filling this position doesn't increase the number of budgeted full-time equivalents at the district. So staff tonight is seeking the board's authorization for the general manager to recruit and hire one backflow and reclamation specialist in the operations division.
Any board questions on this? Okay. All right. Hearing none. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve this hire?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Director Bragman,
Yes.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
President Gibson.
Aye. Number 8 on our agenda here is another position hire, approval of to fill associate engineer position.
Thank you, President Gibson. Tonight, we're requesting the board to authorize the general manager to recruit and hire one associate engineer position in the engineering division. This position became available or vacant when the incumbent promoted from associate engineer to senior engineer. This position will be assigned to our capital improvement program and will report to our senior engineer in design construction, Alex Anaya, and will join his team to manage, implement, and support our capital improvement program, which we definitely need the help over there. So with that, we are requesting that tonight the board authorize the GM to recruit and fill one associate engineer position. And this position will not increase the number of FTEs and is included in the district's budget.
Any questions from the board? Any public comment on this item? Okay.
No, we do not.
Thank you. I guess we need a motion to approve.
Moved.
Okay. Second out there?
Second.
Sorry, second, I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay, roll call vote.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
President Gibson.
Aye. That takes us to the last item on our agenda, future meeting schedule and future agenda items.
Yes, so good evening, President Gibson and Board of Directors. There are no changes from when the staff report was released with the packet. So if there are any questions, please let me know.
Okay. Hearing none. Any public comment on this item?
There are none.
Okay. With that, I think we're done. And the meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks,
you.
Jack.
Thank you.
Take care. See you.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.